Hello everyone, this is Matthew Frailey with BreakpointTrades.com. In this video, I'm going to do a detailed technical analysis review of the markets and of course our trading systems and trade ideas, etc. It is currently Wednesday, October 16th. And market, as you know, had a nice rally today, which I will go over in just a minute. The S&P 500 gained about 0.5%, while the Nasdaq only gained about 0.1%. So techs are lagging here. IWM small caps are outperformed, up 1.65% today. We've been looking for that market to outperform. Tomorrow morning we have TSM reporting semiconductor, so the options market look like that's expecting a big move, so we'll see how that looks. As far as the market, on Monday I talked about the market being extended and looking for a pullback, and we got that on Tuesday. Then we got a bounce today. That said, this bounce to me sort of has the look of maybe a B wave bounce and then come down once more. If that is the case, I'm looking to be a big buyer of that. Again, my name is Matthew Frailey. I founded Breakpoint Trades 21 years ago, back in 2003, to provide the most advanced technical analysis on the planet, advanced market analysis, trade ideas, and mechanical trading systems, which is my passion. We have 21 SPY and ES mean reversion systems. We have our KISS trend systems, volatility systems, etc. Awesome stuff here. We got an active community. We have daily trade ideas. We had awesome setups here over the last week. Really great stuff here. We have 5 detailed market newsletters per week. Again, if you're just a YouTube subscriber, definitely consider signing up, and I think you'll be happy. All right, let's get back to this newsletter at hand. This is our backend recorder for our website, Recorder. So if you're just using this on or viewing this on YouTube, these newsletters, we have them in a web-based format on a browser along with audio. So I'm going to get that started now. Hello everyone, this is Matthew Frailey with BreakpointTrades.com. This is the Wednesday, October 16th newsletter. Tonight's newsletter, as you can see, divided into 6 major sections. Same theme as I always keep. We have my opening statement with my thoughts in the market. I'm going to make a brief comment on our systems, our KISS systems. Remember, KISS system subscription is live. Use KISS20 for 20% off. It's an awesome product. And then we'll go ahead and move back to the general market analysis. Look at the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and small caps from a top-down approach, daily, intraday charts. We'll look at a few market indicators. Then we'll look at the bond market. We'll look at some major sectors. We'll follow up on those. We'll look at the US dollar, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, commodities, precious metals, and finally we'll follow up with trade ideas. Guys, we've had some amazing trade setups here. Rocket Lab, AMSC, CIFR, ALNY, TDOC, AAOI, all awesome. These are all trade ideas from the weekend. And AZ, which is one of our speculative plays, that we actually had a call or Zoom today that we sent out. If anyone bought that over the last several days, you're up nicely. Again, it's a longer term hold for me, but if you sold it, great. Anyone who bought it the last few days made some good money. Okay, but it's going to take time for that to develop. It's a small speculative stock. Again, that's rare occurrence for us to show something like that. But vast majority of our stuff are just straight technical analysis and systems. Okay, as far as the market, as you know, uptrend on all time frames. On Monday, I discussed how the market was overbought, extended, looking for a pullback, and we got a nice pullback correction on Tuesday. Now today we rallied up. The S&P 500 gained 0.5%, while the Nasdaq 100 big cap tech only gained 0.1%. So lagging. Semiconductors were actually down, and IWM small caps outperformed, gaining 1.65%, which is what we've been projecting for the markets. Okay, that said, that pullback was favoring that as a wave 4 or wave 2, but we had a bounce today. To me, could be a wave B of an ABC pattern, which means we get one more pullback in a C. If we get that, I'll be looking for a major buying opportunity. All right. Otherwise, Thursday morning we have initial jobless claims, and remember, TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor reports. So that could be a big move. We're in earnings season, guys. That's a big one. And of course, you have still geopolitical stuff. Next, image number 2. So here's that 30-minute chart of the S&P that I discussed. So this would be one of the very bullish counts. So on Monday, I talked about how the market was very extended. And this would be one count where you completed a 1 of 5, then you get a pullback, which we got on Tuesday. We got a bounce today. But usually these pullbacks in an uptrend, guys, are 3 waves, A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C pullbacks in an uptrend are your friend. Remember that? So right now I really only see 1 wave down. So that's why I'm sort of favoring this bounce as a wave B, lower high, then come down again in a C. And if we get that and we start to reverse, I'm going to load up on long indexes again, maybe futures. All right. So that's what I'm favoring. We'll see what transpires. Next, image number 3, just briefly talking about the KISS systems. Remember, the high performance system is live as a, this KISS systems are live for a subscription. Use KISS 20 for 20% off. Remember, you can input your phone number in, get live automatic text messages to your phone. These systems will tell you when they're entering. They'll send you a text message. They'll tell you where to place your stop. We call them smart trailing stops. They'll tell you where to adjust them, and they'll tell you when they get out. So they fully communicate with you. You can follow them fully as a mechanical system. These are all live trades, guys. These aren't back tested. You can see URA 78-minute system is up 39% now. And that system went long on September 6th. So it's been in there, well, about 5 weeks. None of these systems are day trades. All right, you can see nice gains here. Again, these are not back tested. These are all live. And of course, you have access to all the other systems. All right. So again, this is open. I think this stuff's awesome. And, there you go. Hope some of you are following this. I know quite a few of you are. There's quite a few of you that aren't still. But great stuff here. And this is only going to get better over time. All right, back to the general market newsletter. So image number 4 shows the index sector table, what transpired today and this week. So you can see all the indexes were up, with the Russell clearly outperforming here. It's up 2.5% for the week. Nasdaq big cap tech is lagging here, as you can see. All right. S&P up about 0.5%. The Dow up 0.8%. As far as the 21 market sectors, the majority were up today. All right, only a few slightly down sectors, less than 0.1%. So pretty good broad-based rally. Now for the week, we still have weakness in the Bryant. We have weakness. Sorry about that. We have weakness for the week. We have still weakness in the energy area, technology, and semiconductors. All right. Currency-wise, U.S. dollar up yet again, 0.3%, up 0.7% for the week. So amazing rally on that dollar from that divergent low that we pointed out in advance before it bottomed out. Cryptocurrencies up 0.8% today. Bitcoin is up 7.6% this week. Commodities, DBC, that's the index, down about 0.3%. Crude oil down 0.5%. Natural gas continues to absolutely get pummeled, down 4%, down 11.2% for the week. Guys, they also call natural gas the widowmaker because it's notoriously difficult to trade. And, it's one of those things, you don't put a finger on it and marry it because you'll be the next dead husband. My bad joke, but anyway. Quite a sell-off here, a little bit oversold. We'll see if we can get a bounce there or not. Copper up 0.5%. Uranium up 7% today. By the way, the KISS high performance system, 78-minute system, has been long that, as I just showed you a few minutes ago. Agriculture down 1%, corn, wheat up. And precious metals were up today, again, despite the fact that dollar keeps ramping up. Gold up 0.5%, up 1.8% for the week. Silver up 1.9% for the week. And GDX, the mining stocks, up. Now, as far as the bond market, finally seeing a pullback this week on the 10-year, 30-year Treasury yield. Next, item number 5 shows the economic news calendar. Remember, Thursday we have initial jobless claims and retail sales. In the morning, we have Taiwan Semiconductors reporting. That'll be a big one for the tech. And like I said, we're in earnings season. Make sure to check your individual stocks for earnings. All right, let's go and jump to the charts. As always, I've been starting with Nvidia. So here's Nvidia. As you know, this has been a masterclass example of the stock bouncing between these supply and demand zones just perfectly. We all had those drawn in place ahead of time. And then I identified this bullish ABCDE 5-wave coil, which has been playing out, rallied, broke out of the coil, stalled logically at that June highs, which you'd expect, pulling back. I favor this as some sort of cup and handle now. So I think eventually this is going to break out, and then it's just consolidating here. Next, number 7, here's the 60-minute view. Remember on Monday I pointed out the MACD divergence, and that was why you had a logical pullback from that June high basically. And we bounced today. That said, to me, I'm kind of favoring this as a lower high wave B, looking for another pullback in a C, which to me, in my opinion, would be your buy opportunity, especially if you're out of shares and you're looking to add. So that's what I favor at the moment. Next, moving back to the indexes, chart 8, here's the 5 key major indexes. Again, everything goes up today. Big cap tech lagging. IWM starting to outperform here. Next, moving on to the S&P 500, chart 9, here's the daily KISS system. This is the high performance daily KISS system. Again, system, as you know, went back long in early August. You can see all the smart trailing stops it's raised since then. And those profits from that entry in early August are nicely protected with that stop at 56.56. Okay. And you can see chart has a lot of information here. You got the mark indicators here. You got all these Mark 9, 13 combos, which all produce little pullbacks, some of them larger pullbacks. And you can see that moving average driven pinch over a week ago, that was a good buying opportunity. Chart 10, here's the 4 time frames. Again, daily up here, you had those A's, and we did get a slight pullback yesterday. And otherwise, we're above the ATR in all these time frames. You can see we still holding that. Next, moving back to the standard chart, chart 11, here's the daily view of the S&P. Remember back in June, that high we had was a wave 3. We had a textbook ABC 3-wave pullback. Again, guys, I always stress like a broken record. In an uptrend, ABC 3-wave pullbacks are your friend. You want to buy those. Then you got to move up. Stalled at that previous high, logically pulled back, rallied up, pulled back. We found support at that previous July highs, which became support. So this is likely some sort of wave 3 up here. Next, chart 12, here's the other view we've been showing, this kind of leading diagonal. Again, nothing's changed with it, but that's another version. Next, chart 13, here's the half-day chart. Still have this wedge look to it. And we're not really favoring this as a big rising wedge, but it kind of has a wedge look to it. You do have a little MACD divergence here. Next, chart 14, here's a 2-hour view. So we've had a nice move up, and we've had a bounce here today. I'm favoring this, as I already stated. This bounce is maybe a wave B, lower high, then come down again in a C. To me, that would be a better buy. This would be one option where this is a wave 4 pullback. Next, chart 15, here's a 60-minute chart, shows you that same thing. Potential wave 3 of 5 up there at Monday's highs, and then pullback, wave 4, which may not be complete, right? We bounced off a little demand zone here, bounced. We still could come down again potentially and see. Once that's complete, then I'd expect another move up to a new high. Next, chart 16, here's a more bullish scenario. This would be showing, this is the primary view, showing a wave 5 of 1, wave 1, then a pullback, bounce, lower high, come down again as a wave 2. If that's the correct count, if this is actually a wave 2 pullback, then that should be a wave 3 after that, and that should be a strong move. So that's why I'm looking to buy that if we get that C wave pullback. And finally, chart 17, here's the 15-minute chart I discussed on Monday. We broke that channel, as you know. We filled that gap, went a little bit lower, then bounced. Now we'll see if this bounce forms a lower high, come down again, just like I showed above. Next, chart 18, here's the daily triple Qs, KISS trend system, high performance version. And guys, you can see it stalled right at that that horizontal line there. That's the weekly ATR. So logical little pounce there. Otherwise, again, smart trailing stop is at 479. Next. Chart number 19, here's the 4 time frames. Again, Qs have been weaker here. We're below the ATRs on the 130 minute and 78 minute. Next. Chart number 20, here's the triple Qs daily. Again, we pulled back from that area. Little doji today, bouncing off the 20-day moving average. There's a bigger demand zone below, uptrend line, etc. Remember, the Qs have not tagged their July highs like the S&P. Over time, that should be a magnet. Okay. And chart number 21, here's 195-minute chart. You can see pull back a little bit in this little supply zone. Oh, that last high did have MACD divergence. Chart number 22, here is a 2-hour view. Again, pulled back and into some of these fibs. We'll see if this ends up being a little ABC type of thing. Chart number 23, here's a 30-minute view. Shows like a little wave 5 up here. And so far, that's played out for a nice pullback. Chart number 24, here's another 30-minute view. You can see how we pulled back from resistance, bounced off a little demand zone here, etc. Again, the Qs are lagging. Now, finally, the small caps, IWM, they've been outperforming this week. Remember, we expected that. Last week, you started breaking out of that little flag channel. So, to me, that was the area to buy and simply placing a stop right at that higher low at 214.60. Again, I didn't know at the time if price would have went lower into that demand zone, but that was a logical trigger there with a logical stop at that higher low. Now we're working on this wave 5. So, been expecting small caps to outperform, and that's what they've been doing this week. And finally, chart number 26, here's the 30-minute chart. Again, nice pop out of that area and demand zone. Little RSI divergence here, little overbought short term, no MACD divergence, so good little pullback here. It's likely a buying opportunity. So that does it on the major indexes, guys. By the way, ES futures are down about 7 points tonight currently. Next. Chart number 27, here's the VIX Volatility Index. Again, down today with the market up. Again, remember, excellent buy signals where you see all these arrows. We had an excellent buy signal last week when the VIX closed back inside its Bollinger Bands, just like you see here. Right? That's per the system. Next, chart number 28, here's the 60-minute chart. Remember that open gap I talked about on the weekend and on Monday? Well, that was filled finally. That was a magnet. Next. Chart number 29, here's the S&P McClellan oscillator. Again, it's not telling you anything right now, but that was an excellent buy signal over a week ago when it closed below its lower Bollinger Bands. Remember, when it does that, that gives you nice, at least mean reversion trades and sometimes major bottom trades. Excellent little system. Next, chart number 30, here's the S&P versus high yield corporate. We still got to monitor this. We still have a higher high in the S&P and a lower high on high yield corporate, so we have a divergence. And when these divergences show up, can occur at inflection points, so we want to continue to monitor this. Next, chart number 31, here's high yield corporate itself. So far, a little bounce back. It didn't pull back into that demand zone that I'd drawn. Doesn't mean it won't form a lower high here and then do that, soon. So keep an eye on that. Next, chart number 32, here's TLT 20-year bonds. So far, TLT 20-year bonds have had a little three-wave ABC pullback and have bounced near their 200-day moving average. And chart number 33, here's the 10-year Treasury yield. As you know, this has had a nice pop off the lows. Finally pulling back here the last few days. All right, let's move on to the sectors. So chart number 34, here's XLK. Remember, this filled its gap last week. Bounced up just like the Qs. Hasn't tagged that high. Now pulling back a little bit. I do think those highs are an eventual magnet. Next, chart number 35. Here's the semiconductors, which were essentially flat today. Remember, they didn't fill their gap like the Qs, so that's still probably a magnet over time. Taiwan Semiconductor reports tomorrow morning, so that'll likely be a catalyst. This area's been weaker. Next, chart number 36, IYT. That's the transports ETF. Rallied off that big support I talked about, and that has continued to follow through. Next, chart number 37, here's CSX. It's in the transport sector. It's a railroad. Nice little coil pattern. It's popped the last few days. Now, today it was up and pulled back, but To me, still pattern looks pretty good. Remember, sometimes when you break through resistance, you come back and back test it. So if this pulls back to back test this coil trend line, watch that. That could be a second buying opportunity. Next, chapter 38, XLF financials. The financials and banks continue to rock and roll. I pointed this out well over a week ago that these look super bullish, this little ascending triangle pattern. It's been playing out beautifully. Chapter 39, here's the bank index. I pointed this out over a couple weeks ago, this bullish ABCDE coil, and this has played out beautifully as well. Here's the trade setups I gave for these sectors. FAS, that's the triple long ETF for the financial sector. I put this out last week to our subscribers. Hell of a move out of this coil. Very good percentage move. Congrats if you took it. KBWB was another one. This is a bank ETF and it had just a textbook ascending triangle here. You can see the 5 ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. Beautiful move here. Congrats if you took these last week, guys. And the final one is KRE, which also had a coil. It's also working out. There you go. Hope some of you guys caught those. Next, chapter 43, IYR real estate. Remember, this had a nice rally off that 50-day moving average and demand zone. Okay, nice bounce from there. Chapter 44, XOU utilities. Nice rally right off that demand zone. You see that? We had that in place well in advance. Found support there, rallied up, making a new high today. Now, MACD is severely lagging on this bounce. You can see a new high here. MACD hasn't even crossed up over its signal line. So this is likely to set up a MACD divergence unless it gets blown away. Next, chapter 45, XLE Energy. This area up 0.5% today, but it's been lagging here. Remember, under the concerning side, you only have 3 waves up. So it's possible this simply completed an ABC up and it goes down again. It could also be something more complex, but after the only 3 waves up, definitely it weakened. Next, talking about the Chinese market, here's FXI. So after that huge ramp from that inverse head and shoulder pattern and that news where China came out and they're going to finance everything in their market and basically a QE type thing. Then had a huge pullback. I said on that first pullback, look for a lower high, wave B, which we got. And so far, we now do have 3 waves down. But too early to say if that wave C is over yet. It's also going to depend on news that comes out of China, clearly. Next, chapter 47, here's Baidu. Remember I talked about this one? Had a nice breakout over the downtrend line. I said, watch this pullback. It's likely to fill that open gap, which it did today. But notice it's trying to find support at this broken trend line. I took a little stab here just because this is now potentially support. All right, moving to commodities, chart 48. Here's DBC, that's the index, down 3.7% for the week. So nice pullback here. Otherwise, longer term, it's still in this big horizontal rectangle pattern from the last couple of years. Next, chapter 49, here's crude oil, down 6.8% this week so far. Next, chapter 50, here's the daily chart again. The issue you got here with crude oil is, notice, again, just like on XLE, you only have 3 waves up here, A, B, C. It's possible they completed that and this works lower, okay? So that's one thing concerning about crude oil. Obviously, the Mideast situation could affect this as well. Next, chapter 51, UNG natural gas. Again, logically stalled right at that 200-day moving average again, just like it did the last 5 times. Look at that, just perfect. Anyway, continues selling off here, quite weak. Let's look at intraday time frame. Here's the 60-minute view I showed on Monday. So first off, rising wedge played out absolutely perfect. And anyway, I pointed out the open gap is one magnet. That was filled today and it went lower. So I did take a little shot here, trying to catch a falling knife. I got a tight stop there around that low, 1335. But again, guys, this is the Widowmaker. You got to be careful with it. Next, chart 53, here's copper, bouncing a little bit today. It's back into this demand zone. By the way, this is the second test of the demand zone. And also you have the 50-day and 200-day moving average below there. Next, chart 54, DBA agriculture, pulling back a little bit. Now, Chart 55, here's uranium. Huge pop today, up 7%. Remember, our KISS system is long this, the 78-minute version. Had a nice double bottom back in September. Big breakout here. Massive move today. Looks really good. Here's the big picture chart, the weekly chart. Remember, way back in 2020, if you're at Breakpoint, I pointed out the start of a bull market. And I was correct. It's been uptrending since. And that last sell-off correction found support near that uptrend line going back to 2020. And nice pop. Chart 57, here's CCJ. That's one of the major uranium stocks. It looks very similar to URA, almost identical. Approaching the highs, maybe that's the next breakout. Chart 58, here's URG. That's another uranium type stock. Low priced one, little resistance here. Pickup in volume today, little cheapy one to watch. Next, chart 59, here's Bitcoin. So far up almost 8% this week. Now it's testing the downtrend line of this expanded wedge. Okay, we favor that low back there as a wave 4, and we favor a move to new highs in a wave 5. Some ways to play it besides owning crypto, it's Bitcoin itself. BIDO, here's one of the ETFs. I pointed out that 3-wave ABC pullback where you could have put a stop. So far, it's been a nice trade. And it is slightly above the downtrend line now. Chart 61, IBIT. Here's another version. This is actually one of the newer Bitcoin ETFs. So this is up nicely over that trend line. And the leveraged way, BITX, that's the 2-time leveraged ETF. So there's some ways to play Bitcoin itself, guys. And chart 63, here's Riot. This is one I talked about on Monday. And so far, it's moved a little bit out of the space. Next, chart 64, US dollar continues to ramp up. Up yet again today. Notice it's now into a new supply zone. You have the 200-day moving average just above. But guys, remember, we pointed out that 5th wave low several weeks ago with that MACD divergence ahead of time before this rally. We warned about a rally in the dollar and that ahead of time. That said, I am watching this UDN. That's the inverse dollar ETF. You got a nice little tight channel here. You have some MACD divergence. Again, I need a trigger of some sort, but I am monitoring this as a trade, a way to play a pullback in the dollar if we get that soon. Moving to precious metals, chart 66, gold, again, slightly up today. Basically, kind of nearing a little double top here again from the September highs, 2,700. And chart 67, there's the weekly view. Again, we've had a parabolic move in gold from the 2022 lows. We still favor this as some sort of wave 3 of 5. Again, gold is in a super bull market, guys. And are you honestly surprised with the BRICS nations and all the rampant crazy spending and debt? Chart 68, silver up today as well. So far we got a little higher low in place here, but hasn't yet taken out the recent highs. And chart 69, there's the big picture view. As you know, I think this goes much, much higher over time in the long run. Next, chart 70, here's palladium. Been monitoring this one, precious metal. It has been underperforming, unlike gold. Again, you have a very tightly wound moving average ribbon, which is trying to curl up here. You have this bottoming pattern, good volume coming into it. I still like this, guys, as a potential swing off this low. Some targets would be the supply zones. The second supply zone there would represent about a 50% move from here. That's a heck of a percentage if it works out. Next, chart 71, GDX, that's the miners, up today again, little doji, nearing that recent high. We'll see how it heads there. Otherwise, it's been in this uptrend channel for months. And chart 72, here's the monthly view of GDX. Remember, this broke out of a coil about 4 months ago. One target of it over time could be this supply zone above, which we haven't tagged. We put out some individual names in the precious metals as well. Here's Newmont. This is at a nice move from last week. Made a slight new high today. There is a little MACD divergence on this recent high, though, to be aware of. Chart 74, BTG. Another one that's had a nice move out of this trend line break. Next, chart 75, KGC. Off the highs today, but it's very strong stock. And finally, Charter 76 Dust. That's the two-time inverse ETF or GDX. I'm just keeping an eye on this one, guys, because you do have a proper wedge that is developing here. Remember my comments over a week ago? I said this could use a pullback further in the wedge, and that's what we're getting. So I'm going to continue to monitor this, especially as a hedge at least on some of the miners if they start to correct. All right, guys, let's move to trade ideas. So first off, let's talk about AZ here. So Steve and I just started discussing AZ last week, and we've discussed it on the weekend and over the last couple days. Now, I know quite a few of you bought this. If you bought this over the last several days, you're up nicely. I mean, today this was up 25% alone, blew through this first little supply zone. And today we had a Zoom call, or we sent out a Zoom call where one of the company representatives gave an overview. Again, this is a longer term speculative play for us. I've been messing with this thing for a few years. I've had trials and tribulations with it, and I don't have any affiliation with the company. They don't give me any, they don't pay me to talk about it. They don't give me stock, whatever. So this is just something that I I think it has long-term potential. That said, again, you have to decide what you're going to do. I'm not a financial advisor. If you bought this and you sold it, great. I'm in it for the long term. That said, you know, I will scale out of some shares along the way, looking to buy them back, always keeping a core. That's me. You have to decide what you're going to do. It is quite extended here in the short term. I mean, it's been outside its upper Bollinger Bands for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now. But again, guys, that said, we're not going to sit there and talk about this and tout this every day. This is more of a one-time thing. So, we're only going to discuss it when there's material development. So we're not going to discuss it daily, weekly, even monthly. So, but it is at a nice move up. Congrats if you bought this and made some money. And Charter 78, here's the zoomed out view. So nice move out of that resistance. First little resistance target area is this $4 range. We'll see if it pauses there overnight. Again, my thought is if these developments, and they get some big contracts that come in, I think this can go much higher. But again, you got to do what you're going to do, you know. But otherwise, it's had a nice move this week. Next, let's talk about our other trade ideas. Man, we've had some awesome ideas, guys. I really hope some of you are trying to play these. So here's Rocket Lab. I've had this on my watch list since last week as a coil. Huge breakout today, up 12.6%. Awesome. And you can see it was trying to break out. You can see these dojis were testing that trend line resistance of the coil yesterday as well. Think about that like it's reaching. It's trying to reach up. It couldn't go the last couple days. Then today, it finally got the energy to bust up. But this has been a great trade, guys. If you bought this, if you bought even just a few hundred shares and sold this, I mean, you made enough to pay for your subscription here. Next, Charter 80, here's AMSC. It's also been on my list since last week and on the weekend. Nice break out of this coil today on expanding volume, up 13.4% alone. Charter 781, here's CFR mining. This was on my newsletter on Monday and Tuesday. Inverse head and shoulder pattern, coil, and chopped around the last couple days. And nice power move up today, up 14.4%. Again, excellent percentage move. Charter 82, ALNY, little ascending triangle pattern. We had it last week, had a nice move, and then it broke out today. So these are great trades, guys. I hope you're catching some of these. And Charter 83, TDOC. This is one from Steve last night. Low price stock. Just starting to poke its head through resistance. Still looks really good here. We'll see if we can get some follow through. And Charter 84, here's ARM. This was a long idea of mine on the weekend. Now, it did give a great trade on Monday. Hoping you took some profits on that as it's pulled all the way back. Charter 85, NET, another great one that triggered last week. It's pulling back now, but it gave you a great percentage move there. Charter 86, here's AAOI, one from the weekend. Remember, my target was at least filling that gap, which it did. Another nice pop today. Charter 87, AMPX. This one, you can see it's been poking its head through resistance here, pulling back, but I still like it. I like the volume patterns, so I like the flag pattern. So we'll see if this can eventually pop. Charter 88, here's CLNE. CELH, one from the weekend. It's still valid here. It's just kind of chopping around near this resistance. Let's see if it can break out of here or not. Still on watch. Jabber 89, Grail, another one that's still on watch. Resistance is 1450. It's kind of trying to flag here in this rectangle pattern. Jabber 890, AARY, still monitoring this little basing pattern as well. Okay, one to watch. Charbert 91, IBRX, another nice little bottoming play from the weekend. Still monitoring this. It's right at this resistance area. Let's see if it can bust up through it. Here's some new setups. Charbert 92, NPWR, Net Power. Nice break here. Nice volume. Took out a little resistance here, and you got a horizontal rectangle pattern. Looks pretty good. Charbert 93, SNCY, Sun Country Airlines. Nice move today, good volume. Got a nice resistance up here, one to watch for a breakout. Jarbor 94, LWLG. Now this one broke out today already on monster volume, so why did I add it here? When I looked at the intraday charts, this looks like it can follow through on momentum. So over today's highs 335, I think it could still push higher. Jarbor 95, the last one, ANVS, little clear resistance right at 950. So let's see if it can clear that. And there you go, guys. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, we are favoring that potential wave C down. Currently, ES futures are down 10 points. So they have continued to weaken as I've recorded. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And again, take care and have a good night.